Hey everyone, this is Unlock24, and today we're going to be talking about the Ancient Gear deck that was released a while back. This is going to be after the buzz. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at an actual deck list from, an actual deck list that I've made, because I haven't shown you how I would play this particular deck. Now, keep in mind that I'm building this for the current, I guess, KC Cup, and from my experience in the KC Cup. Your experience may be a little bit different, but overall I think you want to achieve the exact same thing with this particular deck. So the biggest counter to this deck would be Blue Eyes and what is it, the Level Magician. Let me figure out what's his name is, because I keep forgetting. But he's at 3,500 attack, and that's, I think, this guy. This is one of the this is what this Ancient Gear deck is weak against. Is basically any monster over 3,100, then you're most likely gonna have a problem with. So I build it to kind of counter that, and overall the decks are still not, I don't think in my opinion it's really high-end competitive. It is still missing a ton of stuff, and it does rely a ton on just basically the Gear Town and the Ancient Gear Fortress. You can also try the Magical Hat version, but again, I don't really like any deck that requires your opponent to do something in order for you to be able to actually use the deck. So I didn't go to that particular route. With this particular deck, you're basically trying to go against whatever your opponent is running. If they're running Blue Eyes, if they're running I keep forgetting this guy's name, the Silent Magician level 8, then you kind of have to make it to where it counters this. Now, this particular version isn't a final version because I don't have all the cards for it. I would run another Drowning Mirror Force, and then in some occasions I would take out the enemy controllers and put the other two Canadia. So you just have to take a look at what your opponents are playing, and then you just kind of have to cater to that. That's why most of the time whenever you net deck a particular deck, it's not going to work properly for you. And that's because whenever people are playing it, they're changing it as they go, unless it's like on a tournament where everything's locked down. And if that's the case, you always want to go with the cards that have the more versatility, like Enemy Controller instead of the Canadias. That way you have a lot of outs to different things. The Enemy Controllers give you out to Yugo. It makes it to where you can OTK easier, and it provides a ton of defense for your cards. One of the key things that I like to do is most of the time, especially if I'm playing a mirror match, I would just set the Enemy Controller, set the Canadian, and then just in my turn not really do anything. Also, another thing is you might want to end your turn with an open field, which it's kind of like a 50-50 chance. They may OTK you, and then again they might not. It just hits a coin flip whenever you do that. So I do tend to set the enemy controller or the Canadian a little bit more. Overall, I don't think the deck is going to be a high tier deck. Like I would say, Blue Eyes, it's a little bit higher tier than this particular deck, and that's because it doesn't rely on one specific card like this deck does, relying on Gear Town. You can play Blue Eyes just with straight up Blue Eyes and nothing else, whereas this you have to have a Gear Town, and then after that you have to have a way to destroy it. If you get a Gear Town and then you don't have a way to destroy it, you're gonna get stuck. And I think that's one of the problems with people playing Ancient Gears. They're playing Ancient Gears with like 3 double Cyclones, and then the problem with that is if your opponent doesn't set anything, you're stuck and you're just gonna auto lose. And a lot of the games that I played against Ancient Gears, I just didn't set anything and they couldn't do anything. I think most of the ones that even like took any life points from me, they did it with an Ancient Gear Wyvern, and that was about it. I would just come back in the next turn and just OTK them. So overall, I think the double Cyclone, it's a really bad card for this particular deck. I wouldn't suggest that you use it. I'm using one copy of it because I'm still missing a lot of I'm still missing that effect to destroy my my Gear Town, and you kind of have to run one, but there's really nothing better. We had like a Mystical Space Typhoon, I think would be way better, but we don't, so we just have to deal with the Cyclones. So again, I see a lot of people playing communities, and I think that's a bad idea, especially since you're relying on your opponent to do everything else. And that's one of the reasons that I'm playing Twister. Twister overall, it's going to be a way better card. And it is going to cost you 500 life points, but overall you will have an instant way to destroy your Gear Town. Whereas if you have the double Cyclone, you're really going to have to be waiting on your opponent. And if your opponent doesn't set anything, you just automatically lose. The Drowning Mirror Force, like I said, ultimately I would like to have 3, but I only have the 2, so I'm only running 2. The Drowning Mirror Force is basically a counter to the Silent Magician, as a counter to every other level monster, and it's a counter to Blue Eyes. So if you have the 3 Drowning Mirror Forces, do run the 3 Drowning Mirror Forces. And the only problem you're going to have is whenever you're playing against a Blue Eyes player that knows how to play like really well. Like I said, the Blue Eyes deck, I think it's far superior in my opinion to the Ancient Gear deck. Sure, this particular deck locks your opponent's back row and locks the effect monsters, but I don't think that's really enough for it to be considered a high tier deck. I mean, you might have a different opinion, that's just my opinion. Whereas if you're playing against a Blue Eyes player deck that knows how to play the deck, they're gonna either Destructotron you, or they're gonna do what is it? That's the level 4 spellcaster that gets a counter. I always forget his name, but anyway, they're not gonna attack just blindly into your Drowning Mirror Force. They're always gonna have a backup first, and then once they get rid of your back row, they're gonna go ahead and just destroy you. They're gonna use Spirit of White. They're just gonna use everything in their power to get rid of your back row. They're just not gonna blindly attack. But if you're playing in lower ranks, I would say maybe in Platinum, this deck would be extremely good, especially against those players that aren't really playing at a high caliber level, I would say, because they will blindly attack into Drowning Mirror Forces. They will blindly attack into any back row. But anyway, let me go ahead and show you some replays of. And again, this is Platinum. I think it's Platinum 2 or 3. I can't remember. I think I got back to Platinum because I think I deranked into all the way to Gold. I think, and then I started using this deck, and I went back up. But I think overall the deck is only good until I would say until maybe the Legend, maybe Platinum 4 or 5. No, maybe like low 5, and I don't think it's gonna do much of anything when it comes to like a high tier competitive. Maybe a deck or two will get lucky and make it a little bit farther than that, but overall, I mean, if you want to invest in a decent deck, I guess this would be a decent investment. Like, you could be out of what is it, $6 or $5? Then you do that by 3, so it'll be 15 or 18, just depending on how many decks you put. And you're playing against Blue Eyes, and again, this is I'm gonna say it's an inexperienced player because he just runs into the Drowning Mirror Force, and the lower ranks, that's basically the Drowning Mirror Force is gonna save you from a lot of things. Silver Sky, Canadia, and this is what I'm talking about. You do rely heavily on the Gear Town or on your Wyvern searching everything out. Right, and here I'm not really trying to get rid of the Ancient Gear Castle. That's one of the things I didn't talk about earlier. The skill I'm using is the one with this guy when you get Ancient Gear Castle the first turn. You never want to get rid of the Ancient Gear Castle. That's because that's one of your outs to the Blue Eyes deck. It gets it to where your monsters are over 3,000, and that's basically your out. That's basically what this particular person just gave up. Alright, here's another one against another Blue Eyes player. And Blue Eyes is everywhere, in, like, I think Platinum 2, Platinum 3, along with Yubel and Ancient Gears. middle-aged knights living in high school. So again, like I said, if you're playing against like mostly some experienced players, this deck is never easy, or when most will come against him. Here he can't touch that Drowning Mirror Force. I think Drowning Mirror Force is one of the key cards to beat any monster that's over 3,000 attack, especially when it's a level monster that isn't affected by spells. And that's basically it. Most of the games that are played against boys, this is what they attack blind into a Drowning Mirror Force, or either hit him with a couple of turns and manage to get over their Cosmo Brain by having the skill activated, well, the castle and not tributing enough. So overall, I don't think I want to show you the replays. They're basically the exact same thing with just playing against Blue Eyes players or playing against just random guys that really don't do much of anything. I think there was a mirror match. He was playing like a weird Minecraft greener back and forth. And there again, you see that Drowning Mirror Force just destroying them. And I think Drowning Mirror Force does need to be hit, especially when you see those earlier replays with the Blue Eyes, where I basically went +2 with a Drowning Mirror Force, and so I'm not going to show you the other replays. Basically, much of the same thing. In my opinion, Drowning Mirror Force does need to get hit, maybe 2, if not 1, because again, it gives you a ton of advantage, especially if your opponent doesn't know how to play that well, or if they just started playing, you're basically going to win just because of the Drowning Mirror Force. But anyway, should you buy the Stretcher deck? I mean, it really depends on you. If you just want to spend like maybe $15 and have a decent, I'm not going to say highly competitive, but like a Paladin level deck, then I guess you should go ahead and do so. But if you want to save that money and if you already have Blue Eyes made, I would skip it. Just stay with Blue Eyes. I had some trap was, what is it, at the bottomless ones, let's see, floodgates. Just add some floodgates and you should be good to go. It's basically the same principle as this particular deck, except you're not relying on one particular card. You do have several outs with Blue Eyes, and you have a lot of destruction with the back row. So if you have Blue Eyes, stay with Blue Eyes, play Blue Eyes, and if not, if you're starting from scratch, go ahead and get this deck. It is decent, it'll get you to Platinum 5. But other than that, once you start playing like in a really, really high competitive setting, you're just going to keep getting just utterly destroyed. But anyway, that's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you are enjoying my content, do subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.